Hey YouTube fam, how you be? Let's go ahead and hang out and do some positive vibes and tarot. This is going to be all signs, general reading, you know the vibe. If it's not resonating with you, that's okay. It's all good. I still appreciate the company and may you at the very least be entertained. Either way, let's see what kind of positive vibes we have in store for you today, shall we? Okie dokie, I've already pre-shuffled, but let's go ahead and cut the decks together, starting with the archetypes. There's a bunch in this one, like the tarot deck, so I'm cutting in 3, middle to the top. Boosh. We have the vow, but I'm seeing it upside down. What'd you do? What's going on there? And the mask, but I'm seeing this one a bit sideways. I fear that it's not the same for you as it is for me with direction cameras and all that grooviness. For me, what I feel like, if it's going to my right, to me that feels like moving to the future. You know what I mean? It feels like moving in the right direction. So on the bottom, we have the river also sideways like that. The river can speak of cleansing and change, right? And I feel like you're being reminded, I feel like something has changed, whether you realize it or not. It's like you started off somewhere with particular intentions and things have kind of, you know, but that's okay. That's cool because it's all about the journey and not the destination most of the time, right? The mask, though, like, I don't know. When I'm looking at it like this, it kind of looks like it's kind of been set. How many times am I going to say kind of? It looks like it's been set down. You know what I mean? I don't know if you want to think of it in like some oil or mud or something, but it feels like taken off and set down. And I don't know if like, because I feel like this is more present and this is more past. You know what I mean? And there's more of a freedom and moving on happening. So there may be something that you promised, something that, you know, whatever the vow may mean for you, that whether it's broken or not, like you need to acknowledge that things have changed, right? And as long as you're handling things respectfully and compassionately, like you can't control how others react, right? But you can control hopefully how you handle the situation and stuff. Let's try the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck. We have Villain. Fam, real talk, I keep seeing this card. You can always rewrite the story. So I have a tendency to always notice these musical notes coming from them. But earlier when I pulled this card, you know what I was hearing? Because it came up for me with that and is it spaceship or something? It's like, don't be afraid to sing. And I kept hearing Ariel from The Little Mermaid in my head where she's sacrificing her voice and she's, you know. And I realized, what if this isn't just trying to get rid of the haunting melody that's going on, this thing that's been bothering you, where maybe your villains won. Maybe, you know, your name got run through the mud, not mug, what? Maybe, you know what I mean? Something happened that wasn't how you had hoped. Somebody else had their own way and it was not in your favor. And everything was changed. Things may have been ruined or whatever. And it's about moving on. It's about being able to recognize that you've made it through that. It's officially in the past. And stuff, you know, right? And those feelings of betrayal, that pain, it all needs to stay back there in that moment, right? There's a big difference between mourning and processing and dwelling, right? So I kept thinking of like haunting melodies, but what if that is the villain and someone is being silenced, like this conch shell, What if that's what it's representing? This beautiful night under the moon getting ruined. The fuck? I don't know. What's the next card? Witch. Justice is coming. Interesting. Fam, you got the villain and the witch card. Someone's getting their karma. Someone did something to you, and it's coming back around now. On the bottom is mirror. Treat your body like the palace it is. Like, seriously, fam. It's one of the rare constants throughout your entire life. No matter what we do to our bodies, we still have our bodies, right? Love it. Cherish it. Take care of it. Enjoy the ride. May you. How about we see if we can get some clarification with some clarification, I mean, with some tarot. These two cards are really getting me, though. The villain and the witch card. Justice is coming. Fam, like, that feels so like the hammer dropped this round. That's wild. Like, I see the Justice card all the dang time doing readings and stuff, right? But like, these two pairings are just, damn. I'm not one to sit around and watch some gossip and drama, but I kind of want to grab a bag of kettle corn right now and be like, what's happening? All right, so the tarot, let's see. I like to think of it as a story, right? So what's chapter 1? The Page of Swords. And we begin with the Page of Swords. Interesting. Card 2 is the 8 of Wands. Okay, then. Card 3, chapter 3, is the Knight of Swords. We got some speed going on, fam. We have not only the 8 of Wands, but the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords. Can you see what was on the bottom? The Ace of Cups is on the bottom. Oh, fam. Okay, chapter 4 is the Moon card. All right, we got a major arcana showing up. Coming up underneath the Page of Swords is chapter 5 and the 9 of Pentacles. Luxuriate, fam. Underneath the 8 of Wands is the 4 of Cups. What's up? Okay. Underneath the Knight of Swords is the 7 of Swords. Interesting. Okay. Underneath the Moon is the 6 of Cups. Oh. And the epilogue to this tale is going to be the Devil card. Okie dokie. Let's save the bottom of... Wait, we already know what the bottom of... Amy, what are you doing? It's the Ace of Cups. Moving on. We're going to forget that happened. Maybe I'll edit it. I don't know. Who cares? Moving on. So, with the Page of Swords... This may be someone younger than you. Maybe you're the youngin'. Maybe you just started a new job or at a new school or something and you're the new person, right? Maybe you just simply have a tendency to be underestimated. That's what I tend to think of when I think of the Page of Swords. Someone who knows their shit and knows what they're doing, but maybe they seem younger than they are, right? Maybe they're too nice and they tend to be underestimated and people tend to overlook them or whatever. And this isn't just someone out in a field playing with a sword like boop ba doop. This is someone who knows what the fuck they're doing with that sword, right? And I like it when we can't see the full length of the swords in certain cards like this one and the Knight of Swords, actually. Because it's like that connection with the divine, the universe, that intuition and guidance, right? So this can just be trying to remind you that even if you're new at something, you've been studying, you've been learning so much, and it's okay. It's okay to feel new. It's okay to feel awkward, but remember that you know what you're doing. You are based in truth. You feel comfortable with the truth, at least at this point in life, right? Or someone's bringing in a message to you involving the truth that's going to help you with some mental clarity and such, right? And I really like that the 9 of Pentacles is underneath it because it's like it's emphasizing that relax, you've got this, you've put in the work. And now it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? This, it could be considered like a good harvest, like all of these things that you've been working on, because the pentacles aren't just money, they're the earth. They're everything. They're all that sustains you. They're all these seeds that you've been planting, all the studying, the practice, the whatever that you've been putting in, right? Coming to fruition, being able to enjoy it. So however, like maybe it is money. Maybe you started a business and things are finally going, coming out of the red and evening out a bit and stuff, and feeling like, okay, all of that hard work was worth it. Maybe you got an inheritance. I don't know, but there's this thing of being able to just relax. Your needs are met. And if you're thinking, no, the fuck they're not. Well, not with that attitude, they're not, right? Because that's what we're supposed to think of, how it feels to have it all, to have everything that we want. Don't worry about the specifics. How would you feel if you had it? Enjoy your life. Luxuriate. Enjoy that self-care. Enjoy taking care of your body and washing all the pain, all the past away, right? All of that hard work, all of that dedication in whatever form, right? Because that steady progress, it adds up. It comes to fruition, right? And this card, there's either a message coming in like that. Spontaneous adventures is also being spoken of with this card. So don't be surprised if you get a call, if you get an email, if someone slides into your DMs or comes, we have a 6 of Cups come, showing up. So for all I know, somebody from your past is going to be like, hey-oh, I moved back into town. Let's hang. I miss you. Or you're going to be invited somewhere, right? But there's also like, when I first laid these down and I saw this 4 of Cups coming up underneath the 8 of Wands, someone's been waiting for this shit. Someone's been expecting that it's like ABC. I like to think of this as like the hyper focus card. It's kind of similar to the 4 of Pentacles. You get it? Like they have their ducks in a row and they're expecting very specific results. And anyone that says, and I don't need your help, I know what I want and I'm going to get it. And the problem with being so set is you're blocking yourself from even better. You're blocking yourself from the pleasant surprises that can come up along the way, right? Dang it. Foil. Oh my God. Right? So I feel like someone's being reminded to let it go. Let go of your ideas of exactly, oh, my ear's ringing, of exactly how you expect things to happen, whether it's your manifestations, a new job, a new honey, moving, whatever the heck it is, and these specifics that you're doing things for. Let it go. Let it go. And just open up and leave that elbow room for the universe, the divine, whatever any that means for you, to surprise you with 10,000 times better, a bajillion times better, right? We're humans. We only know what we know, right? What if there are things you didn't even realize you could attain, levels of success, places, a home of your own that's even better than anything you've ever even known? You got to leave that elbow room when you're working manifestations and doing affirmations and stuff, right? And the Knight of Swords, knights have been sent out for very particular things. And when we're dealing with swords, that's the mind. So we're dealing with logic, mental clarity, the truth, right? So this is another messenger. This is the fastest messenger of the entire tarot. This one is not messing around. If anything, they might be a little too hasty. So if this is you and you're just plowing through things like a freight train because you have an idea and you gotta go, watch yourself. I've seen things say that like the Knight of Wands, similar energy, but they can also be a bit hasty and impulsive, but like, it usually ends up working out. This is like, just don't plow over anyone or anything, trying to do your thing, all right, on your quest or whatever the heck, if that is representing you. But I also want you to keep in mind that this sword or this knight, just like that page, they know what they're doing. They have their mission. And they are tried and true. They are not messing around. They are not lying. There are no illusions here. Okay? And coming up underneath or above the Seven of Swords, this speaks of betrayal. This is supposedly the thief of the tarot. But what gets me about this card every single time is this is broad daylight. Broad daylight. And they're smirking, right? They're leaving two swords behind. Why? I like to think of this as someone being able to make off like a bandit, but they're taking all of that wisdom learned from those experiences, those shitty experiences, dealing with those people. And it's like that point where you're like, okay, this crap no longer serves if it ever did. Bye. Deuces. Leaving two swords behind. Deuces, right? You keep that crap. That's for you. But I got the wisdom from this whole experience, and I'm moving the frig on. So interesting that that came up underneath the Knight of Swords. And then when you come to the Moon, one of two major arcana, and the Moon is like you reach that point where things can be illuminated. When you're able to look back at the past versions of yourself, when you didn't know any better, you were a bit more of that animalistic nature, maybe a crawdad or the primordial ooze equivalencies in your life, right? And you had no freaking idea. But these are like, have you read about like Solomon's temple and stuff? Isn't that the idea for some with those towers, when they also show up in like the death card? There's another one, isn't there? At least. And one like stands for truth and stuff like that. And at least in this deck, so many differences, even when still Rider-Waite-Smith, right? But this deck has the symbol for Yahweh. If I'm not one of the words, one of the letters, Hebrew letters anyway, that's God's name. So it's like reaching a point in your life where it's almost like you're at a crossroads in a way, because you have that option of life itself has been illuminated. There are things that you weren't quite understanding that you now do. You now are able to understand, right? You're at that point in your transformation and growth and evolution where you can honor how far you've come. Sucks when you're in the moment sometimes, depending on what we're talking about. But when you're far enough ahead, you can honor that old you who was so confused, who had no idea, who was scared, terrified, tortured, whatever, right? But that's a part of who we are now, right? Having survived and made it through all of that. So many of us are stuck and caught in that survival mode. Our cortisol levels are skyrocketing. Our nervous system is wrecked, right? Being able to recognize and connect the dots, like, well, that experience led to this, and then that, and then here, and then holy crap. You know what I mean? It takes so much strength and resiliency to even be able to reach that point, right? So you have that choice of whether you want to continue with the stuff that you're used to, or continue into the unknown. New experiences, new things to learn from, right? Let the worst officially be behind you. No backseas, right? Underneath that is the Six of Cups. So this can speak of like that inner child within you, children in your life, remembering the things you enjoyed when you were a kid. Because like, think about being a kid, right? What do you have to worry? What do you think kids should really have to worry about, right? In so many of our cultures, kids are kids, right? It's the parents who are worried about the bills, the money, the food, the house and the clothes, and the being able to have all of the things for school and sports and whatever the heck a kid wants to do, right? As far as extracurriculars, more books, oh, college, you know, all of that. That's their responsibilities. They're the adults. They had you, right? When you're a kid, everything's new. You're learning everything, and there's that awe, that thirst, right? We're meant to be curious. We're designed to be curious and meant to be safe. There's a guard over here, right? They're safe. They're able to be kids. Maybe there's someone in your life that you've known your whole life or reconnected with that's older than you, or they're younger or whatever, and you guys have been able to reconnect. And it's so wild how things have changed, and yet you're still able to be the same together and such, right? Maybe you just simply need to remember, or maybe you've never known. Maybe you didn't get to have a childhood, and you're being reminded that you're meant to enjoy your life. When we are adults, I wish it for you to be able to have a choice over your life, over what you're doing, how you're earning a living, how you're living. I hope that it's your mind and your thoughts that are getting to control your reality and getting to choose everything. I hope that you're able to keep your damn self fulfilled. Everything else is like sprinkles on a sundae that was already pretty freaking tasty. You know what I mean? Because there's been a lot. This can be multiple things, though, because this is also a very earth card. It's Capricorn, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Capricorns are interesting human beings. I'm just going to throw that right on out there. From a Virgo to a Capricorn, you all are interesting. So, and they can make really good partners in crime. But notice that, like, this chain here between them, it's not taut. It's kind of slack. This speaks of addictions. This speaks of, because it has that black background, right? And this imagery of being in hell, burning, whatever the heck, you know? I'm just throwing it. I don't believe in that kind of crap. It's our dark nights of the soul. It's our negative self-talk. It's the traps of our varying degrees, wherever we may be on this planet, that we get caught in, right? Whether it's our families, our so-called friends, hanging out because, I mean, same age group, you know each other, and being unable to remember that there's so much more. So I feel like someone has been making quite the difference. Okay, maybe the matter is because we started off with like taking off the mask and figuring out with the vow, but it's in reverse mode. So it's kind of like, what has changed? What are you, it's nah. But you haven't quite honored that. You haven't quite, I don't know if you need to do some kind of ceremony, ritual or something to kind of just boom, or just say like, I call back my energy, you know what I mean? But with these two cards, I don't know, like I'm feeling like this river card here, just this like washing away, because you have a choice. Same shit, different day, or a whole new path. With everything that you've been able to learn, especially in the past year, and move on. Move on to the new. Out with the old, in with the new. We're learning from positive experiences now, right? Because the bottom of the tarot deck, you're being reminded to take care of yourself, and you're being reminded that your cup overfloweth. And anytime, I know a lot of people like to talk about love and honeys and romance and everything, but honestly, when it comes to the tarot, one of my favorite things about it, and this deck as well, is the positive vibes of self-love and acknowledging that love begins with us. The love in my life begins with me. And same for you, right? So as long as you're taking care of yourself and allowing yourself, like maybe you need to go to the spa. Treat yourself, right? But don't get lost in the sauce. Don't lose sight of things. Don't get that hyper focus going so much that you miss out on the spectacular things that were totally spontaneous, but you didn't have time for them if you're hyper focused, right? You've been through enough to know better now. And it's time to trust that. It's time to trust yourself and move on from these things that have held you back in the past, because karma is coming. There is a balance happening. So, and if it was you who did something, if you really did something, take it with grace. You know what I mean? Enjoy that humble pie and munch it on down with grace, right? Whatever you're doing, good, bad, ugly, whatever, handle it with grace. Like I was saying in the beginning, handle it with respect and compassion. And if people want to flip out on you, that's how they do. That doesn't have to have anything to do with you. And it probably doesn't, right? So, yeah, how about some extra notes, fam? This is really interesting. Because it's like, it's almost, it feels very yin and yang, the energy. Like we can't overlook the serious things, but at the same time, please don't dwell. And that, I feel like that's been something that a lot of work has gone into, a changing and shifting of the mindset. I feel like a lot of us have been doing that kind of work. Oh my goodness. Can I shuffle you, please? What's up? Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. I can't shuffle these at all today, but I'm going to keep doing it. Shall we cut? My goodness. Oh, song lyrics. What did I say? Ring, 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 ring. Banana phone. Some message is coming in, fam. You have a Page of Swords, the Eight of Wands, and the Knight of Swords. Boop, boop, boop in a row. With the moon illuminating shit. That's how the tarot began. So I think they were serious about that. I think something's trying to say like, yo. And then, oops. What? There we go. Have I told you lately that I love you? I'm not going to sing right now. You do not. I have not warmed up. You do not want to hear me sing right now. Oh my goodness. Maybe that is someone. Who is someone from your past that you would actually allow back? If we're so stuck on the no backsies kind of vibe and stuff, who is someone who actually had some respect for you? Who actually cared? Maybe you just weren't in the right place, the right headspace at that time, right? So it just, meh. Was it a Pisces? Can you even see that? Or are you the Pisces? Hi. I don't know. No. Dan, I was seriously just trying to think, like, is it Pisces season? It's almost Gemini season, Amy. You need to calm down. There's so many birthdays. Okay, moving on. Thank you so much for joining me. I got a little babbly there, but thank you so much for keeping me company. I really appreciate it. I hope this helped with some perspective. I hope that it at least helped to know that stuff's like, don't gloat. That's what's coming to mind on this right now. Don't gloat. Just know that it all washes out in the end. It all, like, the universe and karma and everything is going, just let it do its course. Let it run it. Because if people are living a type of way, it's going to get them. It's going to catch up. And that includes ourselves. So, mind your P's and Q's. Don't hyper focus, okay? Loosen it up a little. Luxuriate. Savor. You know what I mean? And move past it. This could, like I was saying, this could just mean there are things finally being drawn into the physical, into the earth and materialistic realm. Don't get lost in the sauce, right? You've come too far to lose whatever perspective you've been needing, okay? Yeah. Thanks, fan. Always remember that I believe in you.